detectives. It's Hanako here once again. This series contains fictional content intended for entertainment purposes only. The scenes depicted, including any blood or injuries, are part of a fantasy setting and are not meant to shock or disturb viewers. All characters, events, and settings are purely criminal fictional. Viewer discretion is advised. A warm, nostalgic flashback to the English countryside, where a young Irene Adler and Sherlock Holmes, no older than 10, are running through fields of tall grass, laughing and shouting. Their bond is clear best friends who understood each other in ways no one else could. Irene was always the bold one, full of energy and ambition, while Sherlock was sharp, observant, and full of curiosity. Sherlock and Irene are sitting under an old oak tree, sharing secrets, trading dreams. Irene leans against the tree, gazing at the clouds, while Sherlock stares at a puzzle he's trying to solve.
Sherlock, when we grow up, we'll be famous, you know. You'll solve the world's greatest mysteries and I'll be right there with you.
And what will you do, Irene? Become a detective?
Irene laughs, shaking her head.
No, I'm going to travel the world, have adventures, maybe even change it. But I'll always come back to you. We'll always be friends, no matter what.
Sherlock smiles, a rare sight. He looks at Irene, the only person who truly matched his wit and spirit. They were unstoppable together, partners in crime or solving them at least.
Promise.
Promise?
Their bond seems unbreakable. But life, as it often does, has other plans. The flashback skips forward to their teenage years. Irene and Sherlock are now older, both around 16, but something has changed. Irene is more distant, her eyes harder, filled with secrets she can't share. Sherlock, now a budding detective, is starting to notice the shift. One evening, Sherlock finds Irene at their favorite spot under the oak tree. But instead of the carefree girl he once knew, she's packing a small bag, her face set in determination.
Irene, where are you going?
Irene doesn't meet his eyes, her fingers fidgeting with the strap of her bag.
I have to leave, Sherlock. My family. We're moving. I won't be back.
Sherlock narrows his eyes, already sensing the lie. He steps closer.
You're lying. I can see it in your eyes. What's really going on?
Irene's face hardens, her walls going up. She can't tell him the truth that her family is involved in something dangerous, something that has pulled her into the dark world of espionage and assassination. She's been recruited by a shadowy organization, one that saw her potential and decided to use it.
It's just better this way. Goodbye, Sherlock.
Without another word, she turns and walks away, leaving Sherlock standing alone under the oak tree. He watches her go, a storm of emotions swirling inside him, but he doesn't chase her. Something tells him that whatever path Irene is on, it's far too dangerous for him to follow. Cut to the present. Irene Adler, now an adult, stands behind the counter of a small convenience store, her face expressionless as she rings up groceries for a customer. The memories of her past with Sherlock still haunt her, but she's buried them deep. She has to. Now, she's a professional assassin, living under the cover of a simple cashier. But lately, rumors have been spreading through London about cashiers being secret assassins. It's making her nervous, more than usual.
It's getting harder to keep this up. I've been careful, but they're getting too close. I can't let them find out who I really am.
She reaches into her apron pocket, feeling the crisp edges of an envelope. Inside is her latest assignment to target, someone powerful who needs to be eliminated. She glances at the door, the weight of her double life pressing down on her. Suddenly, the doorbell chimes, and in walks someone from her past, Sherlock Holmes, accompanied by a young boy. Irene's heart skips a beat. She hadn't seen Sherlock in years, but she would recognize him anywhere. He looks the same sharper, more mature, but still the boy she once knew. She quickly composes herself, hiding any trace of recognition, but inside, her mind is racing. Sherlock enters the convenience store, his sharp eyes scanning the surroundings, as they always do. He's here on a mission, but not the kind he's used to. The Eden Planting School interview is coming up, and he needs someone to pose as John's mother. He's tried every other option, but none of them worked out. Time is running out, and Sherlock isn't used to dealing with things that aren't under his control. As he walks down the aisle, John, his adopted son, tugs at his coat.
Papa, what about her?
Sherlock follows John's gaze to the cashier's heart skips when he realizes who she is. Irene Adler. The woman who vanished from his life all those years ago. He hadn't thought about her in ages, but now that he sees her, the flood of memories rushes back.
Irene Adler, after all these years, why is she here? A cashier? That doesn't add up.
He approaches the counter, his detective instincts tingling. Irene watches him closely, her assassin's training kicking in, but she remains calm, her face unreadable.
Irene, it's been a long time.
There's a brief pause, filled with tension. Irene's heart pounds, but she doesn't let it show.
Sherlock Holmes, I didn't expect to see you here.
Nor I you. Though I must say, this isn't where I thought I'd find you.
Irene shrugs, maintaining her cover.
Life takes us in unexpected directions.
Sherlock's sharp eyes study her, trying to piece together the puzzle. Why would someone like Irene Adler, the adventurous girl he once knew, end up working in a small convenience store? There's more to the story, but for now, he doesn't push. As Sherlock and Irene catch up, John explores the store, his curiosity leading him to the counter where Irene left her bag. Poking out of the bag is a letter, partially hidden. John, being the inquisitive boy he is, pulls it out and begins reading. His eyes widen as he realizes what it is: a detailed assassination contract. The words, target, and elimination, leap off the page. John's heart races as he glances back at Irene, realizing that she's not just a cashier, she's an assassin.
She's dangerous, but Dad doesn't know. Should I tell him?
He quickly tucks the letter back where he found it, deciding to keep this information to himself for now. He's not sure how Sherlock would react, and something tells him that this is a secret that could change everything. After their brief conversation, Sherlock explains his unusual predicament to Irene needs someone to pose as John's mother for the interview at Eden Planting School. He's running out of time and options, and she's the only person he can think of.
It's just for the interview. A simple task. No strings attached.
Irene's mind races. She hadn't expected Sherlock to ask her for help, especially with something like this. But the opportunity to stay close to Sherlock, to monitor what he's up to, is too good to pass up.
This could be useful. I can keep an eye on him. Make sure he doesn't dig too deep.
She nods, her face calm.
All right, Sherlock. I'll help you. Just for the interview.
Sherlock's eyes narrow, still trying to read her. He knows Irene is hiding something, but for now, he'll take her at her word. Later that night, Irene sits alone in her apartment, staring at the envelope containing her latest contract. She should be focusing on the assassination, but her thoughts keep drifting back to Sherlock, their shared past, their bond, and now this strange request.
Why did I agree to this? Getting close to Sherlock again is dangerous, but I have to know what he's up to. If he gets too close to the truth, I'll have no choice.
Memories of their childhood flooding back, the days under the oak tree, the promise she made to always return. But that was a lifetime ago. Now, she's an assassin, and Sherlock is a detective who could ruin everything. She takes a deep breath, preparing herself for the role she has agreed to play. The stark contrast between her childhood innocence and her current life is evident as she steps forward.
I have to play this part well. Sherlock is as perceptive as ever, but I need to stay hidden. For now, I'll focus on the task at hand.
Her thoughts conflicted between her past with Sherlock and the dangerous world she inhabits now. Meanwhile, Sherlock sits in his flat, deep in thought. He picks up his phone and dials a number. The screen cuts to Mycroft Holmes, Sherlock's older brother, who answers the call.
Sherlock, what's the matter?
Something's not right with Irene Adler. I've enlisted her to pose as John's mother, but there's something off about her. I need to know if she's connected to anything suspicious.
Mycroft's face grows serious as he listens.
I'll look into it. But be cautious, Sherlock. People from your past can be unpredictable.
Sherlock hangs up, his mind racing with the possibilities. He knows Mycroft's resources are vast, and that any information he uncovers could be crucial.